It's supposed to be really hot today, so I came out and watered everything very well this morning, but everything's getting really big. Okay, I showed you guys in another gardening video how we did the tomatoes this year, and we're gonna have to put a stake in the middle because if you can tell, they're all leaning this way. So we're hoping if we put one in the middle and attach it to the string that we've already tied up to hold the tomatoes that are there, that it'll keep them upright. We still have yet to get our other cattle panel, and these cucumbers are going crazy. So I'm hoping I'll be able to vine them up this weekend when we do get the cattle panel. The squash are huge. We have already seen vine borer bugs. I checked for seeds this morning on the leaves. It's so hard to see anything. We've got a couple of big ones down here. But this is already all the way up to the top. These tomatoes are also doing the same thing where they're bowing down in the middle. So I'm hoping, like I said, another stake or two and they'll hold up well. We have tomatoes everywhere though. The cut flower bed is looking a little colorless because I just made a bouquet the other day. But we do still have some color. Our little pepper bed, the side where the chickens got to, those peppers are still a little traumatized. They're slow growing, but these ones are doing really good. These ones in this square bed over here are doing awesome. There's already fairly good sized peppers on these. The tomatoes on the end here are doing really good. The dill is starting to flower, and like I said, I'll let this grow and I'll save those flowers for the seeds. This pumpkin's got a couple on it. The onions are doing really good. This is where I took out the garlic. I weeded it. I put some rows in. I wish I would have recorded it, but I planted a bunch of stuff here yesterday. It's mostly flowers and herbs. The dill over here is doing good. My Mother's Day flowers. The corn looks awesome. All these sunflowers are doing really good. These watermelon over here look really good. Our potatoes, we pulled a couple potatoes the other day. If you want to see those, they're on my Instagram and they're doing awesome. We're going to wait probably another month or two and pull them up. The garlic is still drying really nicely in the greenhouse. I'm going to leave it out here a couple more days before I bring it inside, but I've just been coming out and squeezing it to make sure it's not getting soggy, like it's not getting too humid in here. We've been leaving the door and the windows open, but it still looks really good. It's already really hot out and it's only 9 o'clock, but I feel like every time I do a video, I can update you guys on the garden just because it grows so fast. The greens look amazing. We've been pulling from here every night almost for dinner, and you couldn't tell. Okay, the shelf in our fridge that we put our goat milk in is overflowing, so I'm gonna make some yummy stuff today. First, I'm gonna make a large batch of cajeta, and this is just my sugar and milk. I add the baking soda, vanilla, and a little bit more milk. All the sugar has dissolved, so it's time to add our baking soda mixture. While this simmers, I'm gonna start a loaf of bread. Okay, the dough's ready. I'm gonna cover it in plastic wrap and set it on the stove, and this is still simmering, and it should thicken quite a bit. It's been about 30 minutes, and as you can see, it's starting to get a golden color. Wow. It's been 1 hour, and it's significantly darker. It will thicken quite a bit more. I've transferred that over to a mason jar to cool, and while it does, I'm starting the base layer of a tres leches cake, so I'm making a sponge base, separating my whites and my yolks to mix them separately. I've already sifted my baking powder and my flour and my salt in the back cup. Here I'm just folding the egg whites into the rest of the batter. Okay, our bread has doubled in size. We're gonna get this ready while our cake cooks. Okay, this will do its second rise on top of the oven while the cake bakes. That way it only takes about 25 minutes. The good thing about this recipe is you can make it as thin or as thick as you want. I made it just enough so it barely coats the spoon, because instead of the traditional evaporated and sweetened condensed milk for my tres leches cake, I'm gonna use this. Okay, I did the toothpick test and it came out clean. So our cake is ready. I'm gonna let it cool a few minutes before I show you the next step. While the cake cools, I'm gonna take these 4.5 gallons in this back corner and scrape the cream off of them for butter later. And I'm gonna use these to make yogurt. Now I'll put the cream in the freezer so that way I can add to it next time we have extra milk, and I will put this inside of our Ninja Foodie. If you haven't already seen how we make our yogurt, go check out that video. Okay, the yogurt's doing its thing. Our bread is still on its second rise, and I saved the last 2.5 gallons to make pudding. Okay, now before I make pudding, and now that the cake has cooled off a little bit, I've gone around the side with a butter knife, and I'm gonna take this cake pop stick and I'm gonna poke as many holes in it as I can without it falling apart. You can also use a kebab skewer or a chopstick, anything really that's about this size.
And what's that?
It's caramel.
It's caramel. Can't believe it's caramel.
Okay, I used about 1/3 of the mason jar in the cake, and I'm actually gonna save this for my coffee and for other desserts. This I am going to cover with plastic and put in the fridge so it stiffens up. Okay, the bread's ready to go in for 48 minutes, so I'll set my timer, and then when the cake is cool, I'll put whipped cream on top of it. Our bread loaf for the week is done, and it's 4:30, so I'm gonna get to making pizza crust. We're having homemade cast iron pizza for dinner. Okay, here's the pizza dough. I'm gonna grate this cheese while I'm waiting for it to rise. This has to rise for about a half an hour before we can use it in the cast iron pizza. It's the next morning. The yogurt's almost done. I just made the kids French toast. Now I'm making pudding with the rest of the milk. And the pudding's done. Okay, hey guys, I recorded that video a couple days ago when we had a lot of rain. It was very wet outside, so we were stuck inside. I made a lot of stuff with the goat's milk that we had. Sometimes we make yogurt, sometimes we make cheese, sometimes we make pudding. It just all depends on my mood and what we don't have in the fridge. I do plan on doing a chicken breed video, just like different breeds of chickens, their temperament, the color of eggs they lay, things like that. If there's anything else you want to see, leave it down in the comments and let me know, and thanks for watching.